Okay, talk. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, but like we were saying,
And then,
go on. Nah, go on. It's okay.
no, go ahead.
Whenever you see the young people, whenever you see the young people stand up for themselves because they understand what it is that they're dealing with as far as oppression is concerned, as far as something is not right here, and you just stagnate that, or you try to just what, like, simmer it down, and then, oh, let's just do things how it's been, how we've been doing things. You're part of the problem. You're definitely part of the problem, because if anything, guide them, show them a better way. Then definitely break it down for them. But you can see that a lot of the older folks, their strategies, their tactics, for the most part, is not productive. Because look at the state of the children themselves, a lot of these young people.
Right. And the code says that we're not supposed to get in each other's way. If those young people have decided that they're going to go and engage in a direct conflict with the people that are hurting them the most, they deserve our support. Young people, children, deserve to be protected. They're not being protected. And so anybody that suggests to them that they deserve to continue to be harmed and they should be quiet about it, and they should quietly suffer, is a traitor to those children.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's why, without a leader, without authority, without approval, without resources, some of these kids didn't even have coats on. They had t-shirts with their hands inside their t-shirts cold. Going against the National Guard in full riot gear.
See, the thing is, a lot of people see that and just think, oh, they're crazy, they're foolish, look at what you're going up against. You're just thugs. You're just you're savages. But most of those people saying that have never, well, what is their day-to-day life like? What is the type of condition they're being raised in, especially in that city, not just in their individual homes, but in the city? What's the treatment like that they're going through, that they get? What type of treatment do they get from the police?
You can go Baltimore and see a bunch of statistics. You can go right on Google it. Baltimore is worse than Detroit. I had no idea. That city is been done.
And the whole joke is, I know that. This is how bad it is. I know that. And I'm not even in the country.
Wow.
Like they wouldn't have made no TV show called The Wire if everything was honky dory, if everything was cool, if everything was fine. And the mayor, I'm pretty sure it was the mayor. She had the nerve to be up there talking about the city, and the way she's talking about it as if it's paradise. Oh, they work so hard to rebuild. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not even in the country, and I know that it's messed up. I know B-More is messed up. People know that the place for The Wire, and plus a lot of other things, but I'm talking more on an international scale as far as different black people or so-called urban people. They know that. They know that it's not, you're not talking about paradise there. So when I seen the mayor, I'm pretty sure it was the mayor, I forget her name, but I seen her standing up there acting as if we will not let these people break down what we took so long to rebuild, what we took so long to develop. Develop what? Really?
You know, Baltimore they said they've given out more than $5.7 million in the last couple of years on basically police harassment cases.
What does that tell you?
Knocking out a grown man a few weeks ago. The people on tape, when they're running around with all these underground YouTube tapes, people being interviewed are saying, "Oh, this was the tip of the iceberg. They just killed 4 or 5 people right before this."
Yeah, that's the norm. It's norm. It's business as usual.
And Freddie Gray is getting a lot of attention because everybody in the community agrees he was a good dude. You see, it's this idea that we deserve these things. That's really our problem from getting after each and every time this happens. You see, we pick and choose our battles based on who we think is deserving of life or not. But I would argue that mental poison is our white shit. It's white supremacy in our brains. It's ingrained in our programming. Each and every one of those young people are deserving of life, a full life, not just to breathe, but to eat healthy food, to breathe healthy air, to drink good water, to have a decent education, to be able to really step into opportunities that present themselves. Do you know they cut off the buses for these kids? That's another reason how the riot ended up happening. The kids didn't have no way to get home anyway.
Nice.
It was out of the
evil. Look at that. That's some evil-ish. That's no
way to treat somebody's child. That's how you treat dogs. You don't treat nobody's child like that.
I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it so thorough and real with you right now. And the thing is, a lot of our own people don't see value in those young people at all either. I'm going to keep it so real.
And they don't see children. They see young adults. They don't see children.
Yeah.
They don't see children. There's even been studies about this, especially white people. They see full adults. They always...
You're right. You're right.
Than really are. But even our people that, we got tall-ass 3-year-olds that people think are in school already. They try to have a full conversation with the 3-year-old.
We're so docile. We're so docile. We're so docile. It's ridiculous.
Of these young people who have decided, nobody told me I'm valuable, but I know it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody told me I'm worth something, but I just feel it. I just feel like I am. Nobody told me to say anything, but I want to talk anyway. Nobody told me I can be out here. I didn't get no permit, In other parts of the country where they're having protests, they get a permit. The police know what time the protest is going to be. They escort them through the streets. They get the helicopters, the news camera. Everything is nicely set up. They got signs, this, that, and the other. And you'll notice this was one of the first times these kids didn't have all of that, and they didn't care. These kids had rocks and water bottles like they was in a third world country.
It looked like as if they were in Palestine.
And if you don't understand,
it's real.
You don't feel like you just don't have a heart, and you really need to do some soul searching. If you really don't care about these children, you should really be questioning yourself why.
Yeah, you're not connected. You're really not connected to the people.
I found a meme that said, "I support our troops," and it was basically a bunch of kids stomping on a police car. You know how many people support as well? I asked. I said, "Do you support? Why or why not?" Any comments?
Mm-hmm.
You think I got any time? It's a simple question. Do you support these children or not?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And if you can't even ask yourself that question, something is wrong.
Yeah. Because they're subhuman. They're being looked at as being subhuman and not worthy. Until people, it's going to get so deep. When people really find out who those children are, I'm not even going to go there right now in this. When people really find out who those children are, which people they belong to, I'm not even going to get into that right now. But a lot of things are playing out.
And when you find out who told those kids to go stand up, who told those kids that they had every right to speak out for themselves, who reassured those kids and let them know that it would be okay?
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
Like, you know they're being abused. You know they're being miseducated. You know they're being miseducated. You know they're being used and abused. You know their environment that they're coming up in is a horrible environment. One, but they knew enough at least to rebel, to revolt. You know, they know enough to say something is not right here. Now, many people will want them to be politically correct. Be politically correct. You're not, if there was no video, like, and the sad thing about it is, a lot of the times, even when there is video, it's like, it still doesn't really matter that much. And it goes to show you this is all part of the system. It is all part of something bigger. And that's what people need to really realize and understand. You know what I mean? Yeah. We need to really realize and understand this. One, there's only a few things I'm going to at least even touch on right here. But I believe it's important for those young people even to value themselves. You know, for them to be shown how much they're loved, they're cared, and that they are actually the hope of their own of the people of the world. I'm not going to get too deep in that, but they are really the hope because of just that energy that they have, and all that's needed is more guidance as far as identity, who they are, and actually strategy and how to go about doing things. But for the most part, I'm not going to wrong them. I'm not going to be like, oh, they're thugs, they're this, they're that. But yet, do you do your due diligence when it comes to, are they being abused? Even with that young man that was ridiculed and abused and beat upon by the mother, that when he was on The View with his mom, he was saying that part of the reason he was down there is because of the abuse, the abuse of that happened to his friends, and his friends being killed and abandoned by the cops, the police. And I'm going there to fight for my people. Like, one thing that I'm noticing from hearing a few of these young people is they keep on bringing it back to their people and standing up for their people. I'm not that. When I hear that and I'm listening to them and watching body language and everything, I'm not taking that for granted one bit.
Right.
Because I know there's more behind the scenes.
Yeah. And if you think about it, that's why they're attacking the youth versus attacking the elders.
True. That's the future.
The elders are feeling the heat because they're docile.
Yes. Very docile.
And submissive.
Very submissive.
And elders prefer the court because that's what they were taught from the civil rights movement, that victories are won in the courts.
Mm-hmm.
there for a while because of this. This is what they didn't want, and this is what they got, and this is what we're going to actually see more and more and more of.
Mm-hmm.
And this is separate. Just following up on what you were talking about, the parent. You know, they brought up CPS charges on her.
You know what?
Mid-year?
Is that legit? Because I posted something about that from a site, and a gentleman told me that was a satire site. So I quickly.
I don't know. I think it did. I heard it from a few people, but I'll check into it.
Yeah, no, that's what I definitely said. I'm gonna check in to verify.
I think they have to anyway.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised.
And then furthermore, okay, let's just talk about the family unit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something to be said about...
Yes, there is. Go. I know where you're going.
Infighting in the home because one wants to actually fight white supremacy, and one person is scared, and we gotta let that go. Whether you're scared or not, has to be severed and set aside. You cannot get in other people's way that are ready to do something. All you can do is stay home if you're scared. Turn off the TV if you don't like it. But you have no right to intervene in that way. Any human person, I don't care how old they are, they have every right to demand respect for themselves.
True.
And if somebody hits you, you have every right to hit their ass back.
They love when we're docile. They love when we're docile and we're miseducated. No, they love when we're docile and miseducated. They love that.
Right.
It's fantastic. And your masculinity is just destroyed.
All the ignorant people get plenty of airtime. They show his actual family member and they cut him off mid-sentence. That was so heated. You know? Of
course.
At one point they tried to say a 25-year-old black man. They weren't even trying to use his name. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to sensational stuff and not highlight the actual issue. You know, they're playing a lot of games, and it's like when you have an enemy, you expect that. You're not surprised. You've been feeling the police harassment in this country since the beginning of police departments. But it is so much more hurtful and harmful when you're in the same household with somebody who's so bent on maintaining the system and protecting masters that they're going to fight you before they let you strike him.
Well,
that's where we're at right now.
Well,
we're at a point where before we can actually get to who we need to get to, we got to fight a whole line of black and brown people who have set themselves up to protect the system.
Let me add to what you just said right there. I'm gonna hit you with a proverb. I'm gonna hit you with a West African proverb or saying, and you can also find this in the scriptures. And it goes, if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do us no harm.
That's right.
And the thing is, you find this all throughout our history, whether from biblical times right up to present day, as far as even during the era of slavery, as far as in the Western world, with the whole house Negro, field Negro, that psychology, that mentality, right, where it's like, and you see this even in the whole movie The Matrix, which was actually came from Sophia Stewart's book, The Third Eye, a Black woman, but that's another story. Anyways, where you will see the condition, you will see the breakdown or the connection as far as going back to even saying like we are our own worst enemy. It gets so deep how we are our own worst enemy, and the system that you think is in place, that you think is all powerful, or you think it's right, which is actually being used to oppress you and keep you dumb, deaf, and blind and miseducated. It's like, because the house Negro, or having that slave mentality and not really knowing who you are and not valuing yourself, you will go against your own household. And even scriptures talk about a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. If there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do us no harm. But there's a lot of enemies within. That mind state, that psychology, that seed, whether you want to call it evil seed, that mentality is deep. And during the times of slavery, it got even deeper, and people even touch on this with the whole Willie Lynch syndrome, or Willie Lynch concept. Whether or not, it was an authentic document or it was an actual person, the concept is real. You see it today. The concept, you see it played out amongst the people. The mentality. That's why a lot of this stuff always goes back to the psychology, the consciousness, the awareness, the mentality. If you don't understand that, if we don't understand that, if the people don't understand that, good luck with a solution. Because we're going to just fight amongst ourselves. And there are people who are in bed with the enemy, so to speak, in bed with the system. They have an intimate relationship.
I'm gonna read you something that I tried to send you, but it's probably gonna not come through until we hang up.
All right.
But this is actually from one of my favorite family members, so it's kind of hurtful. She put on her Facebook, quote, "If all you're going to do is sit on Facebook and talk about how bad white people are, bitch, I'm deleting you. It's offensive. I have white friends. They're plotting to lynch me. You were just a silly rat on Facebook about a week ago. Now you figured out how to use Google and you are political."
Wait, is this a note? Is this a personal message she sent you? Or is she writing this on her own page?
She put this on her Facebook page and it has 7 likes.
No, oh, okay, so she didn't tag you in. She's just basically taking the coward route and just hitting you with subliminals.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, continue. What a coward.
So that's actually the end of her post, but it just goes to what you were saying about if the enemy within.
Yeah.
And it's a person who is my family member. We grew up the same. I mean, her daddy in prison, like my daddy in prison. She's been affected. She has 2 children. She has a man that can't find a job, and all these kind of things.
Yeah, right on schedule. See, it's not scripted. Yeah. This is real. That's real.
That's the hilarious part. The hilarious part to me, and why I had to sit around, because it's hilarious to me. That I have white friends. No, you don't.
Oh boy.
None of you that think that. No, you do not. And I will go a little bit further and say on tape, you're a fucking idiot if you think you do.
But that shows the fear. You know, it shows the fear and it shows the lack of understanding concerning what it is that we're dealing with. You know,
this is somebody who has 2 male children and 1 daughter, and you still don't care. You're tired of seeing it.
No surprise to me. No surprise to me. I thank you for that information. That's primary source.
You're also saying that it's offensive for my white friends put in their face what their people do to my people. But you're not offended.
Yeah.
That they're killing black people nationwide, from California to New York to Florida to Texas, nationwide, Chicago, everywhere. I'm gonna go further and say worldwide. We want to just count all black people. They're killing Africans in Israel as we speak.
True.
This whole last week, they're having some kind of cleansing out there.
Yup.
But you think you have white friends that aren't trying to lynch you.
Our people, generally speaking, are not serious. They're under a deep spell. They lack real education. They have a lot of miseducated. They've very much been miseducated. They're not fully aware of what we're up against. They haven't taken the time, the necessary time, put in the necessary effort, and obviously time, like I said, into studying, observing, analyzing, really understanding what is going on. They're more concerned about how they look and entertainment. They're more concerned with that. I'm not saying, and that another thing is, we're very extreme people in the sense of, I'm not saying that means to look like you don't have a place to live if you have a place to live. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have any entertainment whatsoever. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we use a lot of these things as far as escapism, as a way to escape. And this is high time to really get educated on not only who we are, but what we're up against, what is going on against us, and how to really empower ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, and you have to love yourself.
Once you're up against, you have to go to the next step and figure out, what are you about? And whose side are you on?
Absolutely.
And what are you going to do?
Absolutely.
If you didn't see all this stuff happen in Ferguson and Florida and all this, even in Oakland, I'm so glad if you didn't see these things, at least think about, what am I going to do? Because if it's business as usual, we're going to keep getting the same results, and that's what these young people understand that we don't.
It's very clear. That's very clear. It's business as usual.
Obviously have a visual of a better life for themselves, whereas the rest of us have just accepted being basic at best.
Real. That's real. You see it. You definitely see that. Acceptance.
Yeah.
Docile, passive. Oh well. Leave it up to the system. The same system that's crucifying you and oppressing you. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing always says over and over about how self-respect is more powerful than nuclear weapons.
Yes.
You see, if you really respect yourself and love yourself, there's certain things you are not going to accept. You are not going to accept being used and abused. You're not going to accept that. If you really love yourself.
Article saying that Freddie might have hurt himself.
Oh God, I know.
Put out an article that said he had previous surgeries on his back and it's not clear. I mean, that's what they were trying to feed these people, and these people were throwing it up like, hell no, I'm not taking that. Do you know they have a clause in their law that says when the Baltimore police officer murders somebody, they don't have to talk for 10 days.
Yeah.
They don't have to do an interview, report to their supervisor, nothing like that.
Yep. Shows you the type of system you're dealing with. That's what it definitely shows you. If you don't wake up, if you don't become aware, if your consciousness level does not rise to really see what you're dealing with here, you're not going to make it. That in itself should tell you that something is wrong. So you get a whole good 10 days to get your story straight. Before it gets on the record.
Right.
Smart, you know. It's very crafty and cunning. Very.
Right. And remember what I told you about Oakland police being under federal review since 2003. They still haven't done what they're supposed to do.
Beautiful.
So they're going to go back to court, I think, in September, and then they're going to get another extension. This is nationwide.
It's a system. Yeah. And I remember Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
I've seen police officers on videotape, black police officers, let's talk about them, saying that, this is Baltimore police officer saying that, you know, it's not like, you know, once we join, we're all blue. So that's included that blue means white. And we shouldn't take it easy on them either. So we can't say, not all my uncle, my cousin's a police officer. No. These police officers have not done enough to show us that they're separate from white officers and white supremacy and the people that are actually murdering people. These officers are saying, to this day, we're all blue. 40% of Baltimore police is black. And some of these cases involving police brutality, of course, includes black officers.
Of course.
See, this type of stuff confuses people.
It does. It does. But you know why it does? It does because if you don't study the history, if you don't study the history and the psychology of the past, if you're not looking at who the people are, their background, and especially in the land of captivity there, and you know what was happening, sorry, I gotta say this, during the times of slavery, and how different slaves were used to punish other slaves. If that's not even in your consciousness to understand the present, it's not going to make any sense if you don't even have knowledge of that. A lot of these things that I see right now is almost, it follows the blueprint to a T that is not even funny to me.
That's right.
But it would be confusing if I'm just going off of what I see right now and I had no prior knowledge, no knowledge of the history of what led up to a lot of these things. If I didn't understand about history, prophecy, you know, biblical information, psychology, conditioning, programming, if I didn't know about that stuff, what I see right now would be very confusing. What do we do? That's where it would be.
Right.
But it just shows like everything ties together. It's all, the script is being followed out. It is being followed to the T. The blueprint, they're following the blueprint. And our level of awareness needs to rise.
Let me ask you another question. What do you think about the shaming of the mayor?
The shaming of the mayor?
Yeah. When it first happened, she said, I let them riot. And they basically shamed her until she called the National Guards.
Okay.
And then she changed her tune and talked about the good people of Baltimore and this and that, whatever. But the first press conference she did, she said that she let them riot.
I remember hearing some of that. I remember hearing that. No, and then she had to get a wake-up call. She had to get back in line. She had to get back in line. she had to get back in line. No, I remember seeing that. She had to get back in line. And that's why that meme is going around where it has her looking like Olivia Pope and the scandal. I don't know if you've seen that meme. And it has a man. If you look on my page, you'll see it. I think I have it on my page, but I can send it to you anyways. It has a man, a side view of a man saying, get your people back in line, or get your black people back in line. And you'll see it. I'll send it to you. But what all that shows me, as far as her jumping then to bring in the National Guards, or actually start to do more of what the system likes, is that business as usual. It's you're not gonna get out of pocket now. Don't think you're gonna get out of pocket. No, you're like, hey, like, come on. No, we're not gonna. You ain't getting out of pocket. No. Get back on the strip.
Right.
No, you get back on the strip. What do you think this is? You know who you work for.
Right.
You know who you work. You know who you work for.
Right. And you know who'll kill you.
Yeah. We're about that life. They are about that life. That system is about that life.
And that's what we miscalculate. That's the problem. We see white people as hipsters, as scientists, as doctors, and all this kind of nerdy stuff, and they're so known for being smart and models, and then you got the whole Paris Hilton stereotypes, and we think they're just all laughing. I've seen things on Facebook that said white people ain't never hurt nobody, niggas kill niggas, blah 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 blah. What we're not calculating is they are about that life. Yeah. Let's never forget the 7-year-old girl who killed the shooting instructor.
Oh,
at the gun. Let's not forget that she wasn't playing with no toy gun. They were
Uzi.
She told her how to aim. She was firing a lethal weapon at 7 years old.
Hold on. You want to hear the joke? I was looking at that today. I seen that meme today. Well, not meme. I seen that posted today. The whole joke is, I literally seen that also today. And the whole joke is, I said to myself, they didn't even just give that girl like a 2.2 or a 9 or some sort of more handheld. You know what type of gun that was? If I'm not mistaken, which I remember reading, it said like a Uzi.
Yes.
What you doing firing a Uzi? A Uzi? They got the 7-year-old firing an Uzi. You know what? You guys are about that life.
What are they preparing her for?
Uzi?
What's she ready for? What is she practicing for?
An Uzi? We're not talking 2, 2, or 9. And a 9 is solid. I'm not no gun specialist. But if you had said some sort of handheld, more less powered gun, but an Uzi?
And we're telling our children to stop throwing water bottles and to be more peaceful. That's not even a lethal weapon, a water bottle. A rock.
We're sick. We're sick.
They're setting trash cans on fire, throwing plastic trash cans in the street. Look what we're up against. So also, I'm kind of trying to paint a picture of...
Hold on one sec. I just stopped it.